Well, see what happens if I put my audio on. Are we getting any feedback?
Nope.
Okay, so at least we can hear this side of the table being recorded. Okay. Thanks, everyone. All right, I will call us to order at 1:03.
Thank you. your mic on?
Now my mic is on. So, Jack, I know you're texting me. Jack, you can hear me now. Can you just do a thumbs up text to me? Thank you. Okay, thanks, guys. Sorry about that. We had some technical issues, and we are recording this. So when I'll work through this, I should be able to post the recording to the website instead of just the live stream, and that will get the few minutes that we missed.
We're all, so you're gonna get it.
All right. All right. Well, let's just continue.
Okay. So maintenance was custodial. That's mostly in the buildings. Maintenance is, you'll see that's way over here in facilities. And then we have security, which is really at the high school. And then athletics is like police details and whatnot for athletic events.
Okay.
So that's pretty much as far as I've taken his spreadsheet right now.
Okay.
But you know, I get into, you know, further over here, you know, HR. So there's a lot of, not a lot. There's an administration category. I guess I missed that. Administration and clerical at each building, along with you know, teaching and learning, finance and HR, technology, facilities, and then the superintendent. So it kind of totals it out at the end there.
So the very, very bottom should be the 39 and change, right? Is it? Which is our salary lines? 38, yeah.
38,622. Yeah.
And then it looks like you also had a row where you had the number of students by each of the buildings, and then.
I did.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I don't feel.
Okay.
That's what I said I didn't feel.
Well,
That's not, yeah.
It's not.
Well,
Okay.
again, public document, so don't forget that.
Let me just caveat payments, not,
Yeah.
it just needs more tweaking.
Yeah, yeah.
But then I do have the enrollments in there, and then dollars per.
Yep.
Dollars per category.
And then what about, and did you break that out into general education, any of the special education?
So every category.
Services.
Yeah, I believe I broke it out.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah. I mean,
Let me just look at. I just see something up on the screen that I don't remember exactly how it was. Yeah, I broke it up by dollars per administration, dollars per. Okay. I'll reshare it so you can see this.
have you seen this?
Yeah. We looked at it in that last meeting.
So for every category up above, I have dollars per student. So Ec Lover, the administration was, just look at 233,000
Mhm.
divided by 443 enrollment, $527 per pupil goes to administration. Clerical, teachers, student services, or special education services, substitutes, instructional assistants, instructional coaches, counseling, nurses, transportation. You don't see that in district wide. Maintenance, and then, you know, total per pupil at that point.
Okay.
Again, if you look at, like right here, you look at the two elementary schools, the special ed services, we have a lot more services or more intensive programs at Glover, so that's why their number is
Yep.
higher. And down here, that's why primarily
The
Yeah.
number was
Right,
higher.
right.
Yeah.
probably the same number of custodians at the two buildings.
Right.
So that's why that one is equally high.
Yeah.
You know, but then you look at
More
counseling,
instructional
you look at
assistants.
counseling, it's higher prom. And some of this could be that a teacher maybe on the person that's associated with that dollar, maybe at a higher step or column, than somebody at the other school.
Yeah.
So, but again, that's why that total across the bottom is just not really. I mean, it's accurate the way Mike's doing it, but it's based on a moment in time. It's not like true per pupil expenditure. That's why I want to make sure we're saying that, because that's not how DESI calculates. It's not how. There's a lot more involved in that. You know, but that's salary wise, yeah.
And there's nothing in here for the out of district, so this is just in district. I know,
This is
right,
just
yeah,
salaries,
just salaries, yeah, okay.
So then I did break out the teachers also. So you look at like gen ed teachers, that's pretty even. I mean, it's $100
Yeah, that makes
difference
sense.
for
Yep.
EL higher at Brown, but I think it's because that's where the greater
I
population.
was gonna say it must be
Mhm.
population based.
Yes.
All of this is population based,
Correct.
right?
So I mean, gen ed, you know, you kind of look at this, you know, general ed teachers. Glover and Brown are pretty similar. Village is substantially higher. Vets is substantially higher again. And then the high school is just a tick down from Vets, or it's coming in between Vets and Village.
Okay.
But you know, they have more electives at those schools. It's
Yeah.
not,
Yeah, I thought it would have been higher, to be honest with you. Obviously not.
You know, even at EL, see the number pretty much drop a little bit, pretty much drop as you go up.
Yeah.
It's more at the lower grades.
Okay, so this tells us a snapshot in time.
This is only based on
Right.
budget too, not actuals.
Okay.
Right, so it's what we put in the budget for salaries.
Yeah.
Last year.
Yeah.
Now, I mean,
Yeah.
probably didn't change too much.
Yeah.
You did have some retirement since
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
So I guess that, well, I don't, do you want to make?
I was just gonna say, going through this, did anything jump out to you that was like, maybe we should double click into this, or this looks a little strange? Cause that me at first pass, I'm like, it doesn't look like it's really out of whack in any of these lines. It looks like it's broadly kind of aligned, which is good. But did you have any kind of insights or observations putting it together yourself?
Yes. And those are conversations that I need to have with the principals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there's logical explanations that, as I said to the principals when we met with them last week, is we're going through this exercise. We're going to meet up with you one-on-one. Because for me to say, you have too many teachers in your building from a number standpoint doesn't
Yeah.
do justification as to what your actual needs are. You know,
Yeah,
you might
this is
have,
just a spreadsheet exercise. You need the context, and it's one data point.
Exactly.
Yeah, you have to put the whole picture together.
Well, that was exactly what I was going to say. So this just tells us at this moment in time, this is what our budget for this year is for.
Yeah,
What I am asking for is the next iteration, which is
what are
you guys, not
Yeah.
us, right?
Yeah.
Is, you know, is this right?
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
and given what we've been tasked to do, which is to do, well, based on our notes from last time, I think we were thinking about doing 3 budgets, which I think is a lot, but a level funded, because that's what we've been tasked with doing for FinCom. And then some other either level services or enhanced service, or whatever we want to call it,
So
Yeah,
something in
something in
between.
It likely makes sense to do, at least do the numbers for like the level services, because we know basically what that looks like, right? So if we know the contract obligation, we can say, here's the number for that.
Mhm.
Or we've been told by the town that this is where we need to plan. So that's this number, right? And then we massage it from there. Like, I don't think 3 separate whole budgets makes a lot of sense, but those just have a perspective of where will we be. You know?
So I've done a level
Contractually.
I've done a level service budget.
Okay.
I've got a number,
Mhm.
but I don't think it's prudent to actually put together a whole presentation on
No.
it. Book,
Yeah,
the
no,
whole,
yeah.
go through the entire
Yeah.
exercise. It's the number is X, you know, whatever that number increases from 49 million to whatever it is. This is what it would be for level service.
Yeah.
But I think we also, John and I and other people, also believe that level service necessarily, that there are some areas in the district that can be trimmed. And that's probably our next discipline. What can we easily trim? Not easily, but what can we trim without causing too much damage to the educational impact of students? And then we're going to have to make those cuts to get down to level funded, which are going to have educational impacts. I think that's going to
Yeah.
be the tough one.
I think the middle one is more of a, like, not where can we trim, but like through the conversations you have, where are we maybe a little bit, like,
Where
a little
there's some
higher than we,
efficiency.
yeah, efficiencies to be had. Yeah.
And that's what, again, what I have been asking for 6 years is this whole idea of this level service budget. Again, just, it makes me crazy, because all you're saying is, every single person that we had last year. And position, programming,
software,
everything,
you know,
all in.
curriculum.
Nothing changes, exactly the same, and based on, contracts, inflation, blah, 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 whatever, that's how much it's gonna cost. It's not an exercise. It just always seemed backwards, or I don't know what the word is. I know that's what's done, but versus what do we need based
And I
on
think
our
it's important,
enrollment?
I think it's important to start there so that we can show what we're gonna cut.
Yeah,
Which is,
well-
instead of working from the bottom up and saying this is what we need, and then saying, okay, these are the positions we're not gonna fund, or the
Yeah.
programs we're not gonna fund, or the services we're not gonna
But,
fund.
I guess my question is, do we need them? And if we need them, for how many students do we need them? That's what
Yeah.
the exercise I'm asking for.
But I also think from what I heard from the conversation in FinCom, and I don't want to speak for anyone there, but what I heard was they don't necessarily want us to like back into the number they told us we're going to have, right?
Exactly.
So I think that's also part of the conversation. So I do agree, like we need to come to some understanding of what we can reasonably provide for students to keep our high quality education intact while also doing it within a budget that's less than we had originally planned, right? So
Yeah.
level services, yeah, it can be looked at that way, and I think it has been in the past, like, oh, you just keep everything and oh, you just add that contractual service. That's not always the case because a lot of times you might say, I don't need these 6 teachers over here because we can consolidate or whatever, but those positions can be reallocated over here because we know we needed more
Yeah.
services and
That's
stuff.
what we need to
Right.
stand up at town meeting and explain.
I think
Because
it's
if we don't,
optics of
you're not getting
everything.
it. I'm telling you right now,
So
that's the
I
whole
think
point.
that's so. I mean, it could still be level of services, but it's. I know we're not going to be there because the town's already told us they're not going to be there. But when you
But
do
it's
it at
not
level
doing
of services,
exactly the same. It's
Correct.
taking some from over here.
it's, we recognize that this special ed programming needed some love and some extra support, and how we did that was we took it from over here, we put it from over here, so the totality may be very similar,
Yeah.
but we're not just keeping.
By the way,
X-
that's a step towards us bringing special ed back in
Correct.
districts, so we can in
Mhm.
future years, like reduce the out of,
Correct.
Yeah.
So in the take, we have to do that in steps, and I think right now the narrative is we're never going to get an override, but you have to figure it out. It's going to mean a million cuts or whatever, and I think there's a way to kind of balance that, and that's what we're working on right now. So we're having conversations with the principals, with our admin teams, saying like, let's start looking at like where can those efficiencies reasonably happen, so that we can get to those numbers that we're looking for. So
Yeah.
I think we're
Because I think that that Alec did make the point that they're not, backing into that number isn't necessarily what we're being asked to do, but that is the reality, right? So we need to go with like, what the projections are by the town finance director for revenue for next year. There are some assumptions, right? And so
Yeah.
we are calling it a level funded budget, and that's sort of effectively what that is. And that has to be rallied because we do have to present a balanced budget at town meeting. We
Yeah.
can't, we are not legally able to build, to present an unbalanced budget to the town. And then if the explanation is after all of this analysis was done, that this is,
or properly.
properly done.
Yeah.
Yeah. That this is what we need for the students that we have enrolled now, and what their needs are. This is what our budget is, and stand up there and be able to, in excruciating detail, demonstrate what that is. That's fair. I mean, I'll do that
I
all
agree
day
with you
long.
too.
At town meeting, I'll stand up there, or chair or whatever was gonna do it. And be able to explain that. Because I think that's the information that's, that the town is looking for, and that's what we, I think, need to provide them. So, and I think to your point, it does make sense that this is done on the building level with the building administrators, right? And
Yeah.
and John's,
Yeah.
student services,
Yep.
teaching and learning. Yeah.
So the other spreadsheet that I have in here this is just for general ed. So taking special ed out, because that's where we really get into, so-and-so needs a 1-to-1,
Yeah.
so-and-so needs a 2-to-1, so-and-so's in a small group, so-and-so's, not so-and-so.
Yeah.
Our population of students are in these things, and by IEP, we need to provide these services. So these are outside of IEP. So this is the enrollment, right here is the enrollment for current year. How many kids per grade by school? And then these are the gen ed teachers or staff by school. Now you get down to, that's in the high school, because they flip over so many different grade levels. It's hard to really say I've got, 10, they may not be 12 and a half. More kids in high school may take electives in their senior year.
Yeah.
Are those FTEs per student, or are those in like Brown for the actual teacher?
So these are the actual teachers.
So you have three, hang on.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I've got 37 pre-K at Brown.
And you've got three
Three
teachers.
teachers, and if I go down to the next level, it averages 12.3
That was per
students per
class, yeah.
class. Now, that is a special ed class, so that pre-K is not a good example. But
Yeah.
if I look at kindergarten, got 94 enrollment. I've got,
We have 19.
I'm sorry,
Class, 5
five,
teachers.
Five
five
teachers.
teachers, an enrollment of 18.8.
Yeah.
I like this view. It's easy to follow.
Where it gets hard to follow it is over here. This is, the high school one. Because the high school, I'm only taking ELA, math, science, social studies, and world language.
Mhm.
Those are the 5 core subjects up there. And some students may not take 4-year world language. I don't know, how many years of social studies or history or whatever.
4.
Or is it 4 required? So those numbers, screw with it. But what I did over here is I did projections for next year, and these are not NASDAQ projections, these are just my projections. What I basically did was I level projected pre-K and K.
Mhm.
I moved K to first, this year's K to next year's
Yeah.
first, this year's first to next year's second,
Mhm.
this year's second to next year's third. And just brought those numbers across. It's not an exact science, especially when you get into the, village vets in high school.
Yeah.
Village is usually pretty consistent. You have some kids who start going off to other private schools or other schools, or start coming back from charter school. So that those numbers can be a little different. And then the high school, again, you lose some students to some private schools, and you get some students back who.
Yeah, but even so, I mean, you look at it's a drop. You can just see it, the drop off.
Yeah, I mean,
You don't even have a class other than 10th grade next year. Nobody's over 200.
so really what we're going to, the enrollment right now is 2392,
You just assume it's flat.
and that's 2345, and that's
Down 50.
because the senior crowd is next year's higher.
Bigger,
Yeah.
and that's gonna drop off to, yeah.
340.
And generally speaking, kindergarten, those numbers be a little bit higher.
Although in this case, it's not. That's the
No,
point.
that's just because he made with level.
Right, but this year kindergarten's not. I mean, you got 100. It's one of the smallest classes.
But no, but what I'm saying is from what you project, that's usually like 7% higher.
On kindergarten.
But yeah,
But again, that's why I just leveled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
just in general.
and then it just kind of shows again how many teachers next year, just level.
Mhm.
Again, well, this is just the snapshot of
Yep.
now, not anything about what we're going to propose for the future. And then the ratios again, what it would look like in each class. And again, pre-K and K should not be changed, right? That they're identical across because the enrollment was the same.
Yeah.
These numbers here, these are the same. This one drops a
Well-
little bit in both schools.
I mean, it's possible, John, you might want to look at, I mean, I don't know, the districting Brown Glover. That's another,
Yeah.
for the incoming kindergarten. I mean, that's your job, obviously, but because you have a little, you've got a discrepancy. I mean, it may be the size of the facility, but
I think where the conversation would go from here is I would go meet with Mary. Say, look, Mary, you've got 5 first grade teachers. What would happen so your average is 18.8 next year projected?
Yeah, what if that one?
What happens if that goes to 4? And if it does, it means 23 and a half.
Yep.
And that's a big number, maybe. For some people, it's going to be a big number. For some people, it's a right size number.
Yep.
For some people, it's a low number.
Yeah.
And the question is what if I went from on first grade, if I went to 8 over both schools, then what would our average be? It may be a little bit of, incoming students may be
That's what I just said.
directed to Glover.
district.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do that now with kindergarten.
Yeah.
Anyway, and sometimes with first. I think last year we did a couple first too. So we do it that way when it's
When they're incoming.
when they're coming.
Yeah, because you don't want to be
capped it,
moving them.
pushed them
One
over.
for
Yeah.
divided by 8. To my head.
speed. It's not
Right,
plenty.
so if we were able to do something like cut one first grade cohort, if a class. And redistribute the
Rebalance,
population,
yeah.
rebalance, correct, rebalance. We're back down to 18 and a half students per class.
Yeah,
Because, right here, you're 18.8 and 16. So we can stay at that 18, it's just how we get.
you
the
would have
kids.
to,
Right.
yeah,
Exactly. Those are the conversations I need to have with
Right,
the principals.
of course.
What would it look like in your school, and what does it do to your prep time, and what does it do to your duty time, and what does it do to recess and coverage and your music, art, and PE. It's more than just getting that classroom down because it has rippling effects throughout.
I mean, but let's not forget that this was the staff we had 7, 8, 9 years ago when we had 3,400 students. So, I mean, that is what we were living under. But that being said, and then, okay, so that's gen ed.
Yeah.
And then special education is a separate, I mean, because you can't, in terms of classrooms, but I mean, all of the specialties and the caseloads and all that. I mean, those were,
So that's like student services are there to balance, like the caseloads and stuff, they balance those as best they can
Yeah.
between speech and this speech is the best one. So you have X amount of speech therapists, you have X amount of kids who need speech. You have the right number
Right.
to provide, and you have to have a certain ratio.
Yeah.
So that's always a moving target. Like for instance, we kind of shrunk that a little bit this year, but then we have to bring it back up just because we have kids that have
because you have needs.
stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's always fluid. PTOT is a little bit different because there's not as many kids that need that service typically. But yeah, those are things we try to right size. And then same thing with we have program classes like therapeutic or whatever. We look at those ratios. So I mean, there's legal ramifications around how many students per teacher that you need, or if the kids really need anyway. Maybe a second aid, those are the kind of things that you just still you can't plan for it, so who the kids are.
But you do know that's somebody coming in, or if the needs, but who you have now.
Correct.
And
So
what
you
their
can
caseloads are
you
now.
can do that thing. So like in this third grade class, we have these, I'm just making up 12 kids that have very high needs, and we don't have any fourth graders next year. We can look at that and say, okay, what are the staffing needs? We can plan for that. But then that 12 might end up dropping on 8. And okay, can we move one of those 8 somewhere else? Or it might go up to 15 and then we need another 8. So those are the things that you can plan for what for sure. And especially the program classrooms, because generally speaking, most students have those higher needs and they're going to need that more self-contained kind of classroom. So those are things we can plan for sure. But we have to have contingencies for, students coming in. We've had several, I think last time we talked, we had like 6 new students. Now
Yeah,
we've had like 3 or 4 more.
Yeah.
Well,
Come in and
that was extenuating circumstance.
correct,
Yeah.
but there's more extenuating circumstances that we
Yeah.
aren't aware of from other towns now. So, yeah. So I'm trying to.
What's the best way from your guys' perspective to get data and balance, giving visibility to the town around that, knowing that it's it changes every day based on
around the special ed stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, that gets tricky because we don't want to necessarily get them potentially identifying anybody. So we can speak in generalities around this amount of students require this level of service kind of thing, and this is the staffing that would generally be in place for that specific kind of classroom.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where
I mean, I
have to
think
be.
that would be helpful too.
Yeah,
right, to just
just
know
at a high
programmatically.
level,
So say K to 3, we have, say we have 2 programs, and
Yeah.
the therapeutic
Level,
program was this, and there's typically, if for 8 students, you'd have a teacher in need, and if it's 10 students, you have a teacher in 2 A's.
Yeah.
That kind of, we can.
That would be
outline
helpful.
That would be
Yeah.
very helpful.
Yeah.
I think there's areas right now that I think we're still, kind of shuffling people around for that reason, because kiddos may have self-contained needs, like being in the same class, but now we have to, they need to start to, be able to go into an inclusion class with them. Sometimes they need to go with them, but that leaves the other kid. So there's that always that fluid stuff that we have to plan for. So,
Do we have therapeutic programs, identical programs in both elementary school buildings?
no, we've gone away from that.
Okay.
So that was one of the first things that Lisa Marie and I spoke about. Now I say that caveat being, my understanding there are a couple of outlier students right now because parents may not have agreed to switch to one school together. But we'll look at for those. So
Is that
eventually-
typically a choice? I mean,
well, they have to agree. Yes and no. So if we if the students are in a program or in a school or program, they can do stay put. And then
They can just stay put, but yeah, but they,
still need to agree to the placement. So it's, if that's the only place you have the
I just
placement,
know in my life as a special education parent, I had a child in a substantially separate classrooms. And it was out of this, it was not in my Glover School District, and
Mhm.
my student had to go to Poppin School.
Yeah, and that's typically
There
how-
wasn't a choice.
Yeah, so
So-
that's typically the case, yeah.
Yeah.
We're just in a transition period right now, so it's.
Got it.
it's-
Understood.
It makes it
Yeah,
more
I understand.
New students coming
Yeah.
in. would go to
I
school.
understood.
So the
Okay.
current students were still. kind
Yeah,
of
that's,
working.
that's fair.
But
yeah.
pretty much, I think we're pretty good on that. You know. There's a few that we have to continue to work on.
Because you could end up with two small class, that's the issue,
Exactly.
right? Versus one. I mean,
So, just for Melissa's edification, I think way back when we had, program in a school for some catchment students and a program in another school for
Right.
different catchment students. And at some point, someone thought it was a great idea to just kind of, let's blow that up and let's replicate programs like say Brown and Glover. And have
well, it had to
the-
do with the statement of interest and the whole thing on the new Brown School.
Okay.
It was facility driven too.
No,
But
but sometimes like in a small district like this, you can't replicate programs like that without, it just makes way too much. And that's honestly why we've ended up with more kids out of the district, I think, because we haven't been able to program.
Yeah.
Because the kids are so spread out and the resources are so spread out.
Yeah.
So
that makes
it's like we
sense.
started from
Yeah.
but once
Yeah.
we kind of get that nice, we'll be able to start.
Do we have traveling therapists? We do.
So we didn't used to, there is some pushback on that, but what we did was as we went into this school year, again, I'll use speech language we made all speech language 1.0, 1.0 FTEs instead of 0.6 or
Mhm,
whatever,
mhm.
and the district wide therapists. So
So they are traveling between.
they go where we need them to. Not that doesn't mean all of them travel and
Yeah.
all of them travel, and you try to minimize the travel, right? Typically you would do like two schools. So you might have someone who does like some kids at Brown, some kids at Glover, some kids at the middle school, and some kids at the high school, something like that. So you could break up that, you wouldn't typically have a therapist that would go to all four
Yeah.
elementary schools.
Yeah, right, right.
Elementary schools. But there is, there's some that allows us some flexibility on where we need to move specialists based upon the kids' needs.
Okay. All right, so that's very helpful.
Yeah.
Question for you, just based on one of the things we talked about last time is it realistic that when would be in your timeline of this, do you think realistically we could start marketing ourselves to other districts? This September, maybe not, right? Like in other words, as we work to really try to build these in-district programming.
Would have kids come back in. Yeah, hopefully. I feel better starting that conversation next year at this time.
Okay.
To be honest with you, I don't want to be
Yeah.
premature, but
Okay.
we're gonna
Yeah.
set kids up for failure. But it's definitely on the docket. It's definitely we want to get back to that because I am so used to tuition kids
We
in
do.
quite a bit. I mean, there's a lot of great work going on. I don't feel comfortable with how solid programs need to be to be able
Okay.
to do that.
Yeah, and we need to meet our kids' needs, obviously.
Yeah, clearly,
And then-
but you also
yeah.
want to make sure, like, hey, if I have a program that we're running, it's running really well, and we have 6 kids, you say, hey, you can put a couple more kids, and we can market it. Say, hey, Swampscott, look at this, or whatever. Come over and see the program. We're not there yet, but I'm.
And typically when that happens, suppose we do that, we were tuition a student from, Danvers, I don't know, whatever, someplace. I should say Danvers, that was Dan Bauer, whatever, Swampscott, somewhere. And they come in, say to us, program of ours, they typically would stay until and matriculate through? Or is it a year to year?
Typically, it depends on the certain school district and the parents. So it's,
Okay.
it's similar to like if they go to a collaborative program or,
Yeah.
when it's right for the students to either return to their home district or return to or go to a less restrictive environment. That's when.
But you're not re-looking at the placement every year, like well, I guess you probably are in the IEP.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, but it would be one of those conversations where you would have progress meetings and say, how's the child doing? Is this program working? And then everyone says, yes, okay, great, stay on. And then typically what I've seen in the past is, so say if they're going from, one building to the next building, is the program in the next building also going to meet their needs
Yeah,
properly?
yeah.
And then that's when you have those conversations.
I was just thinking in terms of like, if it's every year, we're not sure. If these,
Right.
like, it's a big question on
These are
That's
decisions.
the enrollment.
Yeah.
You know when somebody's not pleased and so.
Typically you would know whether they were coming back like February timeframe
Okay.
for the following year.
So do we, or does Lisa Marie track, like you talked about how, it changes through the course of the year that, students' needs change, but how do we track, how many new IEP or new student services that are over the course of a year that we take on? Are we taking on, 10 new IEPs a month, or is it 10 a year? Like, what, do we track any of that just to?
Students often track that. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, that might, I don't know, I mean, I don't know if it's helpful information, but,
Yeah.
and is there, I think it would be helpful information. And is there any cadence to it, or is it just sort of year to year? I mean, wouldn't the idea with MTSS, like, it seems like we just get these surprises and it's like, why
Yeah.
are we having surprises if we're doing
I mean,
MTSS and?
Yeah, I mean, kids coming into this room or kids
No,
coming
just
out of
even,
this room?
not kids coming into it, but just like I always hear like it's, like at any point during the year, we could have a student could develop needs to go on an IEP, right? That they've been in district,
Yeah.
but it's just, how does that happen a lot? Is it always sort of, we're just getting like hit with this stuff, or do we have some, like, is there some sort of
Yeah.
preparation
What
for
I
it?
can say is there's different reasonings for that. A lot of it is you typically see an uptick in requests for testing after report card period. 'Cause
Mhm.
people think like, oh my god, my kid went from A to a B, now they need special education services.
Yeah.
I mean, facetious,
Yeah.
but it's not
Yeah.
far off the mark. So you see that, and then once they get tested, I mean, it takes some resources and everything else to test kids, and then they may require some sort of special ed services. My initial conversation with student services this year, we started the school year off with, I don't remember the exact number, but a decent amount that were like carried over from last year for evaluation. So they were like requested really late in the year mostly by parents,
Mhm.
and then they're getting done this year. So
Yeah.
we seem to have a huge influx of like initial IEP meetings to determine eligibility, but it's because there was some management of the evaluations last year
That's being addressed.
that has been addressed. So
I mean, the reason I asked it too is, again, I'm going to go back because I'm in full disclosure. In my personal situation, my student was 20 years ago, right? 20 something years ago. And we didn't have MTSS, which we have now. So all of a sudden, there was like, he was kindergarten, first grade, second grade, halfway through second grade, it was like, oh my God, this kid can't read. I'm like, okay, well, how did we possibly get here? I had no idea. I'm like a first time parent. I mean, like I'm working mom. I'm like, what are you talking? So the whole MTS thing, I think, is designed to try to avoid those like, okay, we just took this assessment halfway through a school year and realized that we've got a train wreck going on.
Yeah.
So
typically we're able
and then it was like a full, full court press, evaluated, all that stuff.
So you typically see those higher areas of evaluation at the younger grades because of that, because we're identifying the kid of the need younger and earlier on. You typically don't see kids being requested for initial evaluations like middle school up. Is typically they would have identified
We would have caught it early.
prior to them. There are anomalies because student may have a bunch of different things that happen, and you have emotional things that have gone on, blah, 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 and it causes to kind of take a deeper look. Some emerging mental illness is one of those big things. There's you don't typically find that like 8th grade, oh my gosh, this kid all of a sudden can't read, but they may have some emotional disability that's kind of bubbling, and that's kind of result, and some of that's developmental.
So it can affect their
Yeah.
ability to learn, i.e., they're eligible for student service. I mean, I had, just to give you an example, like I have a cousin who's now in her like late 30s, she's 40, but she was diagnosed, so she's 40 or 30s with ADD and some other stuff in high school.
Yeah.
Like, cause back, like it just like
Well, that's
like stuff just got, just didn't
some of
get
that has
caught.
to do with ADHD, like the 504 route of stuff changed like 4 or 5 years ago now. So that really we had a big uptick everywhere.
Of 504s.
Students that either needed 504s and or IEPs based upon having ADHD, when it wasn't as much a big of a thing as.
But it can, it is obviously. And are you familiar with the 504 versus an IEP?
The 504 is like, so both 504s and IEPs, you have to have an identified disability, not just, I think he has, so she does. So you have to have evaluated, you need to have an identified disability. And then for a 504, it's an accommodation. So you need something that can even the playing field for you. And So for instance, like if you were in a wheelchair and you couldn't get onto the sidewalk, something that would level the playing field would be a curb cut, you can go up. That's the analogy I use for, so for in education, you would need some sort of accommodation to allow access to that sidewalk, right? So, but IEP is an individual education program, so you have to have an identified disability, or sometimes more than one, and then you need not just accommodations, but the instruction needs to be
You need special
specially
services.
designed. So, if you have to modify the curriculum to meet the child need, that falls under special ed. If it's just accommodating, it's could fall under 504.
Okay.
And if you have an IEP, you basically automatically qualify for
Yeah.
but not the other way around.
Yeah, makes sense.
And 504 is not a consolation prize for not getting an IEP, which is also a big conversation.
Yeah, the 504 is basically the ADA, American with
It's-
Disabilities Act
yeah.
for
Yeah.
public schools.
Yeah.
So that if you were blind or you were hearing impaired, something can be done to accommodate you in the regular education classroom that allows you to receive your education in a regular ed classroom.
Mhm.
The IEP is your needs are such that you need special
Yeah,
services
yeah.
to be able to access the curriculum.
And also, just for more education, 504 was actually designed for the workplace.
Right, it was ADA.
Because it's just like if you had a reason that you want to see your office is on the second floor, but the bathroom's on the first floor, but you need the reason why you have to have your office next to the bathroom, and you could get a 504 plan to accommodate you.
504s carry you through college and.
Correct,
further
yes,
to your
correct,
Yeah.
right, just not age 22.
Yeah.
I'm 22nd birthday, so, okay, so, well, this has been actually very helpful, I
Yeah.
feel like.
Great.
And I think that, so, all right, so the next step, it sounds like, well, first of all, did you just hand out, by the way?
It's just staying on FY27. We need
Yep.
to talk about our FY27 capital requests.
Okay, can we, before we move on to that for a
Sure.
second? As far as this report goes, so the next step is the administration is going to be having conversations with the administration, right? In regards to this, how do you see that being reported back to us in the form of data? And the FY27 budget process?
I think my opinion is that we will take feedback from the principals and meet with the leadership team, the central office, and see what impact they think it would have also.
Mhm.
I don't think this is a building-based decision. This is a district-wide decision. Once we come to some consensus, we will probably come to subcommittee at that point and say, this is what the recommendation would be to get to a level funded budget.
Level funded, and then what, the second one, which would be, so one would be level funded.
Right.
And then
How should we brand the other one, which is like needs-
enhanced
yeah.
services.
Yes, well, yeah, and
Or I don't know.
I think I don't think we're gonna get to enhanced services. I don't think there's much that we're gonna be able to add to our budget.
I guess that's the wrong word.
So I think it's somewhere in the middle of level service and level funded. So it's the cuts that we can make and probably should
Still
have made.
maintain the high
Right,
quality.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then the other one is the level funded and what the impact on education is going to
Okay, so it's level funded and,
be. Impactful budget.
or desired, I don't know. I'm gonna,
We'll come up with our.
I'm gonna wordsmith
phrase,
that.
but yeah,
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, so if you look at it like level.
Needed
services,
services.
I mean, not that I think that.
Necessary.
Yeah. Not that I think this, but like level services is pie in the sky and level funded is where we've been told we're going to be, but there's somewhere in the middle that we should be, right? In
Yep.
order to maintain our,
and then the difference is what we're gonna need to be able to explain.
Correct.
And what does that mean? That means we need,
Finding the funding source for the difference.
well, that's the end, but the explanation is, this is why we need this.
Yeah, we went and did all this work. We looked by school at all the different roles. We had all these conversations, using data.
Yeah.
We looked at all these different things. We had conversations with the principals, we had conversation with central administration, and like putting all of this together. This is us. We run the school district. This is what we need. Yeah,
This is what level funded means. And you guys also are the ones who have to tell us that, what it means in terms of impact, what the impact
here's,
is.
yeah.
Where you recommend that,
Yeah,
where you recommend the budget, particularly the salary lines, to be allocated in a level funded budget. That's,
yeah,
you guys do that, right? And come back. And then whatever we're calling it, the necessary services budget is some number above that
Yeah.
level funded. And where would that be?
Yeah.
So it would be here, it would be here, it would be here. That's what we're gonna need to be able to. Black and white.
Yeah.
and red.
Yeah, I think one of the things I'm interested in talking about for that particularly is like the sooner obviously we get that, the better, because then we can all start having conversations about how can we package this to get the word out in town ahead of May 2026 and like really start to.
Well, we're gonna talk about this, we'll go back to capital, because the next item we have is the budget calendar.
Oh, perfect.
And so that's where we probably should
Yeah,
be just
yeah.
penciling in some of these dates, right? Because we back up to this town meeting, the warrant hearing, FinCom's approval, school committee's approval, school committee budget hearing.
Yeah.
All starts like in January, right? So,
my,
The 3-year
Right.
home forecast in December as well is like a point too to understand long term where we're.
I think they basically do we expect there to be much change? I mean, they basically gave
No.
us the forecast that they do the state of the town in
In
January.
January. Yeah.
That really, I mean, the only thing we need to know is what they put the numbers to be. The state of the town is more about, also about expenses and that sort of stuff on the
Yeah.
town side, but this,
I mean,
unless something changes from what they told us.
Rich, they said level funded. We're gonna get an increase in chapter 70. Are they gonna pass that directly through the schools?
That is not how we have traditionally done.
I understand that, but if the town's getting more money through chapter 70, it's not gonna be a great deal because we are a 16.5% district.
Well, let's put it this way, if we ask for that to be passed through, then they'll probably just take it from this, like, it'll, I mean, like, we have to, we're all in this together in this town. They have contracted increased service,
Yeah.
contract with the police, fire they're working on, with the MME, like, they have their same pressures as we do. So,
It's easy to think that chapter 70 is totally gonna absorb an increase in health insurance and the town covers for. So
right,
I get
Right.
that there's one pot of money and gets distributed out, and chapter 70 goes into that pot of money, it doesn't go directly to the schools.
right. And again, I'm not an expert on this at all by any stretch, but first of all, they are projecting $500,000. So it isn't completely level funded. I mean, it's not much, but it's and that is making certain assumptions, I believe, in terms of how much their recommendation is to be using free cash. I mean, we still have free cash. It's just based on their recommendation, how low they want to
Yes.
draw against free
Yeah.
cash. So
Yeah.
when you talk about funding sources, we're still kind of premature. But yes, and the other thing to keep in mind is if we traditionally do this, we would need to vote a warrant article in January
Yeah.
for an override. So we would need to have that on our, we can let the chair know.
Did you say?
The warrant usually closes like the third week of January. So we usually will vote a placeholder, both for a debt exclusion if we think we're gonna need one, for any capital stuff beyond what the
I
town.
mean, when you asked when will we have reasonable numbers, my mind went to mid-January.
Well, we don't, so what we do is we traditionally vote the warrant article wording for either a debt exclusion and or general override. We don't need the number till the night of
Drop
town
it.
meeting. So, yeah, we don't even, it usually doesn't even get.
Put the language in for placeholder, like for like the month. 17 months.
No, that would be on generally on the floor town meeting. Because even they print the book, which is still astounds me that like the printing of the books for the town meeting is always drove a lot of that stuff, but they print them like weeks and weeks in advance. But no, we would show up the night of, or, I mean, not the night of, we'd have it, before that, but we would be verbally.
I think we would have some substantial data and recommendations by mid-January, maybe.
That's great.
But it won't be in the format of a presentation.
Yeah.
Like we're not gonna give
Yeah.
you the full budget book and the superintendent's recommended budget and the full PowerPoint presentation. It may be a reduced PowerPoint presentation of, how we got from level service to level.
Yeah, that walk.
Expect.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget too, the way this is supposed to work is we do a budget hearing with the public. Usually it's been in March, but maybe we back it up to in theory, we're supposed to listen to the public and then possibly make changes.
It's full recommended budget.
Correct.
I'm saying for
But-
this committee.
Okay.
I may probably be able, you said, when are we gonna be able to
Okay.
sustain what the impact
Yeah.
would be?
Yeah.
I think we may not be able to get down to the granular, but we might be able to say, through attrition and whatever else, we can probably remove one elementary teacher position and one middle school teacher position, one high school teacher position, whatever the numbers
Yeah.
are. and not get into the granular of it's an art teacher. or
Yeah,
a-
Yeah.
we never would do that.
Right.
That's
Too early on.
also the administration's
There's
responsibility.
also, yeah, we have to look at programming in general, so maybe not. We're talking about positions, not necessarily like
Yeah, but
positions they are yet.
They're
but yeah,
FTEs, yeah.
we'll get down to that. And I think, but I think that's reasonable because we have, I mean, Thanksgiving's around the corner and then Christmas, I mean, holiday break and all that stuff. So, yeah, mid-January is probably reasonable.
So we're meeting, well, we'll talk about that. Just let me move on to the calendar stuff. So, you all, so
Yeah, I think-
you okay? Is there anything else? with
I
the
have a
staff?
question related to
Yeah.
the calendar, but no, I'm good.
Okay.
So I'll hold that for, yeah.
So this is the, capital
Oh, sure.
request.
So we went out and,
Wow,
requested some things for capital.
$1,000,007.
What things would be needed around the district, and I'm just gonna go through them. I think I shared something with you earlier.
We're gonna share
we,
it on Thursday too.
Yeah.
Share on
we've
Thursday.
added a few things to this. But, so, we have what the item is, what the projected cost would be, and what the projected cost would be, and
Oh, the Glover Playground. Wow.
we put a priority on it. One being, it's top priority, and three being it's a lower end priority. So the Glover Playground shade, there is, as you may know, there's no shade at the Glover Playground.
No problem.
Brown.
I'm sorry, Brown Playground. Glover, it was put on the list and I asked them just to do it now. It's an ADA door. To me, it should be done now.
Where is this door? Like the front door?
It's so at the front door, we have an ADA door.
Yeah.
You push the button, it opens the first door.
Mhm.
Doesn't open the second door into the building. So it's
Is it broken or it never did?
it was wired. There's no button. So there's no button, there's no mechanism on the door, but it was wired. So somebody planned to put one in. They just never did when it was built.
Well, the high school ones never worked anyway, so.
It's,
it's another-
and honestly, I wasn't here for that, but it was probably, well, how do we have a vestibule if all the doors open? You know what I mean? Vestibule to keep people from
Oh,
entering.
it's security.
Right. And I think part of it is maybe that's why it was
Yeah.
never implemented.
But how does that work? Does it still have to get buzzed in by somebody?
So if you have a swipe, you can tap yourself
Mhm.
and push the button, let you into the vestibule.
Mhm.
Then you're trapped. If you're not physically able to open a door, because the next level the doors are unlocked, I believe, in the middle level from the vestibule into the building or into the office.
Probably in the office.
Into the office. You go
Yeah.
to the office, not into the high school.
Right. So you'd have to again tap again, push the button to get yourself in. I think maybe it's more the exit side when people go to leave the building. There's
Okay.
the button on the inside of the building.
Got it. Doesn't work.
Out into
Yeah.
that door. Right. So
So is it,
So
it's not
I-
the door, it's the electronics for the door or the,
in the mechanism, right? The door should be fine.
Yeah.
It's putting that door mechanism that actually
Mhm.
manually,
Mhm.
the robotic door opener, whatever, I don't know what the good word is for it. But I said, you know what, that should already have been done. It's something that's critical. And the number just didn't, to me, 19,000 didn't justify a capital request. And you'll see some other things in here.
Okay.
that I also felt that way.
Okay.
The Glover.
but it's
Playground,
on here.
no, I think it's
But
gonna
it's
come off.
conversation.
I think it's gonna come off.
Okay.
It says
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I think it's gonna
Yeah,
come
anything
off.
that says now is where stuff we're gonna try to do now.
Do within, I've asked Todd to look within his budget.
Got it.
By Glover Playground refurbishment, I think we've talked about this.
Yep.
There's just a lot of rock out there.
That's a lot.
There's a lot of rock out there. And it's gonna take excavators. This isn't,
Yeah.
kids with shovels. Or,
The leveling, the boulders will take a bit, but the leveling off is gonna be.
And this would probably be a summer project?
Yes, yeah, it would certainly, it wouldn't be this spring because we wouldn't have the approval. This is again capital town meeting.
What's the sum of just the priority ones of the 1.7?
Again, I'll have to do that,
Okay.
yeah. So the high school is there's a cooking classroom. It's got, I think, like 8 stoves in there and countertops. It was asked for a capital again at $15,000, almost $16,000. I didn't think it jumped to that area, so I asked Todd to find that within his budget.
Okay.
The field house is a big one. These three items all go together. This is to do new padding, paint the entire field house, and to
Replace.
do work on the floor.
Should not replace them.
It would replace the padding, repaint the walls, and refurbish the floors.
Refurbish the floors, not replace the floor.
Correct.
Yeah, like bigger.
Yeah, I would think
There's a
so.
couple things there. Those are quotes, but we're gonna possibly look at the painting similar to how we
Yep.
did the pack.
Mm.
So
But-
might be some savings there, but
Yep.
I high school needs a new security alarm system refresh. Again, it said Todd, 14,000. You need to find that new budget.
And that's different from the fire system that we had or that is it?
No,
It's different.
Burglar.
Burglar alarm, got it. Can I just ask a quick question, which I'm morphing over into facility subcommittee? Those fire doors, are those all better now?
From what I understand, they're all better.
Okay. All right, check that out. All right,
The middle. school
years.
Oh,
Clock bell,
ridiculous.
middle school clock bell system needs a refresh.
Wait, hang on, the alarm. Oh, sorry, we did the alarm, sorry.
Clock refresh.
Middle school clock bell system.
And so that was a priority one. I probably should have sorted these by priority, but.
What does the clock have to do with the bell system?
They're tied together.
Oh, they are?
Clocks in the classroom are tied. to the
They
bell
are?
system. They're supposed to be. Sometimes when they break, they end up putting up a battery.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah,
So it's all supposed to be.
okay,
Supposed to
okay,
be intercom, bell, clock system should all be in one system.
okay.
So anybody who's walked the middle school to some extent, there are some cracks.
Yeah.
There are expansion cracks, and I think they were designed, but then they put linoleum over them. So we have cracked linoleum in certain areas, specifically in the cafeteria. And then up on the second floor, when they renovated the building, the plywood underneath that they put down, I don't know if it was secured right, it was the depth thickness in plywood. But you walk on, you can actually hear the echo underneath of it, and it's the linoleum flooring is cracking around that. So there's a lot of work to be done.
So it's to repair and replace the flooring.
Certain areas, yes. It's not the entire building.
Okay.
The second floor in the cafeteria, anything on the first floor really, that has an expansion joint that runs through it.
Okay.
So the vets, gym refresh, the large gym, the small gym, and light refresh. I'm not sure. Oh, the lighting, not light. I can show you lighting. Lighting refresh. Put new lighting in the gymnasium. LEDs, which would be more efficient, energy efficient.
Are there any programs through the light department or Mass
Electric, but yeah, when.
Have you asked the light department?
Certainly could
I think, yeah.
say them, hey.
We did something years ago when Marion Perry was here, Ken Lord, and they got all the lights in the high school for some.
Did that?
That may have been like an EBSCO.
Yes, yeah.
So that really
Yeah.
what they do is they charge you.
Yeah,
They absorb the cost of the project. But you pay them back over 20 years or
Right.
some set period of years.
so you're
through
like,
the
so you're saving,
savings that you're
yes,
gonna-
exactly.
I have had a couple of those and.
Is that still around?
You can get them, yeah, Johnson Controls does them, EBSCO does them.
Is it worth?
My experience is that they can never really prove that you have a savings in electricity. Doesn't mean.
We know,
that's-
we actually, but they put the lights in.
yeah,
We
they
didn't
did-
pay
they-
for it.
you did for your savings. So in your budget line, so you might reduce your electrical line by $50,000, but you're gonna have to have another line to your budget for
I
$50,000.
don't know if we actually did that. Well, maybe just call Marblehead Light.
That's how
Just,
we did it.
okay,
We
all right,
reduced our electrical line and then increased another.
got it.
For 20 years, and then after
Yeah.
20 years it was paid off. So
Yeah, yeah.
In essence, it's a 20-year ROI, and at that point, it's something that will be out.
Yeah.
So I guess at the middle school, and we don't have a quote on this yet, there's, I guess we're running orchestra in two different areas. And because of that, we only have music stands, and these are not the sheet music stands. These are the instrument
Stand, so that's maybe what it should say, instrument
The
stand.
cello,
Yeah.
Violins or whatever else, the larger instruments.
Do we have a booster club in the vets? You may not, for performing arts?
Well, this was brought to me by Julia, and we believe that the cost may come in somewhere around $6,000. So this may not be.
Okay.
So this is probably gonna come up.
Okay, because that would be something if they had a booster. In fact, they do have a booster, because I think it's FOPA, Friends of the Performing Arts, but I think isn't it both high school and middle school? Might be something they would be willing to consider funding, because and they're very, very, very generous.
I just put this on.
That's yeah, so maybe just check.
Not overly familiar with this exactly.
Okay.
Julia mentioned it because of scheduling and the teachers in two different places, and they need two sets of.
Yep. Yeah.
And now, yeah. The other thing that was brought to me was there is a set of stairs that come out of the back of Village
Veterans.
Veterans that go down the hill
Mhm.
and then stop. And then students continue to walk down the grass towards Pleasant Street. the stairs don't go all the way down towards the sidewalk or Pleasant Street. So there's just a gap between. It was asked if we could extend those stairways. It was brought to my attention by facilities that if we actually do that, we'll likely have to put in a ramp all the way, all the way.
Well, the
Zigzag,
whole thing, that
zigzag.
whole ramp coming out of the, when you, like, if you're looking at the front of the veteran school, there's Marblehead High School, 1918, there's a set of stairs. There's ones you're talking about over here to the left.
They're by
there's-
the MHTV studio. I believe.
Yeah. There is a set of stairs though that goes up, and then there's a path that comes down. That path is completely not code compliant. Like, it is like at 15%, like,
Yeah.
and it gets icy, and and there's no railing, like, I've never understood how.
So it was asked if we could extend the stairs. I believe if we extend the
Oh,
stairs, we're going, no, not on the
It's
front.
gonna trip into-
Yeah,
front.
off to the side,
It's
yeah,
gonna- It's
yeah.
gonna trip us to put in a ramp. That's gonna have to zigzag back and forth, have to be cleared and.
Yeah.
Maintained and other things. So I'm not sure. That is.
Well, I don't know I mean, yeah, that side of the building is not really.
Yeah, they come out of school, they go down, right? They go to the library.
It's leave school, they have to
Yeah.
go back towards this way. So that is their.
Yeah.
That is their path and they're not.
And the front one too, which
Which,
is great. I mean, I see people going in and out of town meeting, when it would town meetings, I'm like, and there's no lighting, but okay.
so to kind of close up the performing arts, between the chairs, between the seating is carpeting between in the aisles. And lighting, it's, that would kind of wrap up the performing arts upgrades that we
Yeah.
did from last year with
Yeah.
the painting and
Yeah.
and this upholstery.
I mean, we still don't have the right size restrooms there, but I don't see that ever. Being a fix.
But,
I mean, there's like 2 stalls and there's 700, it's a seat 750. It's crazy. And then, or you have to open up the building down the hall, down the hall, but I don't see that. Possibly being built.
Moving on to Village, this is something that John brought up, the fencing around Stanford Field, is it Stanford?
Sanford Hopkins.
Stanford, Hopkins Field, right?
Yeah.
The fencing just needs some love. The top of all the bars on the top, we're going a 4-foot chain, 3-foot chain link fence, but it's damaged just, from years of use and probably abuse.
The other thing to ask about that, again, we're morphing into facilities, but John, is to talk to boosters
Mhm.
and see if they want to sell ads up there.
Yeah.
For a possible revenue source, because they definitely do at Piper Field, but there's Marble Youth Football is up at,
I think there's stuff on the back.
Is there?
fence, yeah.
oh, okay, I didn't realize that. All right.
Yeah, but this is just like when you're walking into the field and there's that field house and then there's like this crazy gate.
Yeah,
But then to the left, that whole fencing is just like falling over. It's not even
Yeah.
attached.
but I just meant in terms of a possible,
believe-
or even maybe ask them, also maybe they'd be willing to help contribute.
Yeah,
They might,
I think they sell banners up there.
or Marblehead Youth Football. I mean, there might be a couple of options
Yeah.
to help offset that cost, because our students basically don't
Correct.
use that.
My next
Yeah.
item is, you'll see my next item of rent is a number 3.
Okay.
Which is the field structure refresh. There's a snack shack up there and a press box and some restrooms and some equipment storage that we do not use, but
Mm.
it's, it's one of those things that if it needs to be refreshed, it probably should be done
Mhm.
by whoever's using.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's, so we don't want.
Well, the track doesn't track use it?
We use the field a little bit.
Yeah, but we don't use the
I guess we
the
probably,
building itself.
yeah,
We don't,
yeah.
we don't do announcements from in there. We don't have a snack shack in there or
There's
refreshments.
a bathroom there, isn't
There are 2 bathrooms there. One for,
I know it's open up. I know it's open up to the track for sure.
Does anybody use the snack shed or the PA system?
No, I thought the youth football does. I
Okay,
believe.
so that's probably a good conversation to have, maybe.
Yeah,
I mean, they
because
just put,
winterized it.
they generously just provided the scoreboard up there.
Yeah,
But it might be something that, that they'd be willing to help contribute towards. And if you need me to help make that connection.
so if you go into Village Gymnasium, it has got a very distinct echo throughout if there's, the request was made just from classroom use. It's just very loud in that area when kids are bouncing balls or whatever. So there's just some sound panels for the gymnasium there, which is definitely ours. And I told Todd, 10,000 is not really a capital request.
Mhm.
Veterans and Village gym lighting. I think we kind of looped that one in with the high school. What was the other lighting one?
You had one up at the high school, right?
that's middle school lighting.
Or veterans? Oh, yeah, veterans, yeah.
So I think this is.
Combined.
this
So
is-
it's 16
actually,
plus
This
20.
is just village.
Okay.
Should not be veterans on that line.
Okay.
So I think we lumped the 16,000 in with the 19,000 up here.
It's,
I'm still following.
it goes floor refresh, light refresh. Oh. No idea.
I'm still presenting.
I see it on the.
Okay, all right. So
Are you
yeah,
on Zoom?
Yeah.
You're still there?
See it.
we don't. need that
Okay.
camera. We don't need that camera. Okay. Nobody's seeing it. So coming across and so. Yeah, so you add these two together, you work about $75,000.
Is there a copy for Lee?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Then we got the Seaside Park. This is coming from Kent. This is one that I struggle with. Our high school uses Seaside Park for their baseball games. There's a drainage issue there. And I think Rec and Park has come up with some money to support that, and Kent is asking us to come up with some money to support that refurbishment. My comment to Kent was, is this used by donations to another AAU,
Mhm.
big dollars.
Mhm.
It's absolutely not sacred. Nobody's allowed in the field.
That's not true.
So that was.
The Seasiders play there.
Is
It's
that
a, it's not AAU, no, it's a private adult league in the summer, and I'm assuming they rent it. I could be wrong, but Mike Giardi is a coach. So,
So, I guess my point to Kent was, are there other,
Find someone
it's
else
not
to
on our
support it.
property. It's what, when it's on our property, we usually own it and we take.
yeah,
Or if we were the only ones that used it. Okay.
Well,
If
we
it was our
do-
High school feel that we're the only ones that use it. I mean. it's
we're the only
difficult.
ones that use it, I think, during the school year.
No, my son's Babe Ruth team from Groveland played there.
During the school year, not in the summer.
At that
Summer.
late like June. Or starting
Yeah,
June.
yeah.
It
And that's
was
when the
June- it was
Seasiders play
June,
too.
July.
But yeah, no, we're definitely not the only ones. Field hockey uses it, our field hockey.
Hmm.
They Seaside.
They practice, I don't know, I don't think they do, do they do games there? Field hockey? They might, but they definitely practice there.
This is to do the.
This is the baseball, like the.
Oh, okay.
the-
So not the, because when you say drainage, the whole thing gets wet.
Maybe I'm not involved with it. Ken's been talking to Rec and Park about this and.
This would be our contribution, right?
Right,
And what's Rec and Park's contribution?
larger conversations, but I put it under as, because it's as an.
As an ask.
Yeah, it's a number 3 right now.
So it's nothing to do with the building, the stands, it's just the drainage.
Correct. It's not the stands. which
Just the
is
field.
I love it.
Yeah, yeah,
My
yeah.
first time here, I was like, oh my.
Yeah,
God.
no, yeah, it's great.
Mhm.
Okay, well, that would be a capital ask for sure.
And maybe that capital ask needs to come to Rec and Park, with our support, our endorsement or something.
How would we normally reach out? Would you reach out, John, or would
Yeah. Okay.
to maybe to Jamie?
We're up. No snow removal equipment.
Where did this come from, Todd? Is Todd asking or are you asking Todd?
That was my comment. Where did this come from? And somebody responded, Todd. So,
Gotcha.
this is a shared. The snow removal equipment, again. This is one of those things, I think, at the end of last year, we had some funds available. I said, Todd, go ahead and buy it, and you couldn't get it delivered by June 30th, so. According to the town, if it's not delivered by June 30th, you can't use. It's just, you can't carry forward the funds. So I said to Todd, maybe we look at this again in April and see what we have. And whatnot.
Okay.
I dropped it to a priority 3. It's not.
When you say snow removal equipment, is it like snow blowers or is it?
Is a large piece of for snow throwing equipment, not large, but get you.
I mean,
sidewalk.
at some point, do we outsource this or does that, would it be more than $50,000? Okay.
Yeah, if you amortize this over probably 10 years, it's 5,000.
Yeah.
You're gonna be able to cover that with a contract.
Okay.
And then finally, on the capital items, bus camera system for all CS7 vehicles. Our bus camera system is old right now. It has what we call tape, but they're actually hard drives that are in the bus. They need to be pulled out of the bus, brought in here, hooked up to a computer, video downloaded, the footage downloaded.
Versus like a Wi-Fi, Bluetooth,
versus
where
a
you can.
fully live like we could, somebody called and said there's limits on. the
And you
bus,
can see it.
We can pull it up.
Compare schools, I can pull them up schools. and
Yeah.
see what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's not atypical that buses have that system too. I think the more digitized stuff is fairly new.
So this is for our buses, not anything that we
No,
outsource
it's
to
not-
Transdev or whatever, or whoever we,
Outsourced buses should by contract have
Have-
Amazon in mind.
They,
Okay.
you know, we had a contractor, not a different one than what we use here in Marblehead in Haverhill, and they were moving to, they were probably 7,000 buses because they were one of the big ones, but they were moving to all remote access. They'll be able to tape it
Yeah.
anytime. And it's also something that would happen on the bus.
yeah, it's a safety.
You know, police
Safety.
would have, police
Yeah.
could have access to live feed of the bus and.
Yeah.
Drastic.
Drastic happen. Yeah.
That quarters and estimate.
Will provide.
Hmm.
So then just to get into, the technology, our lease on our wireless access points is up and, Stephen is trying to extend that for another year. So we may be able to push this off. We're not sure yet, but,
If you, then that would be under our operating budget.
we actually own the wireless access points. We don't own the licensing to the wireless access points. And if we don't, we can keep them, we can continue to use them. The service will not go down, but we will lose ability to control them. So if something goes down, if one particular wireless access point goes down, we may be down in that area for an extended period of time. We can't reprogram that one or something. Or if we wanted to roll out a district-wide upgrade or some type of restriction or something, we would not be able to do that. So we have a guest network now. We have the WPS network. We want to have a third network. We wouldn't be able to do that. If we wanted to change the guest network to something, we would be able. We lose our management of the system to some extent. So not necessarily need it. We could probably go a year without managing the system. It seems to be very stable. It's a good system.
So it's not.
Until it's correct. So
So would the idea be that we would also upgrade the equipment, or it's just be upgrading the licensing?
it would be equipment and license.
Because
The
the
equipment will
equipment does
come
get
with-
old, yeah.
The equipment will come with 3 years license. I think when we had talked about budget building last year, we talked about building in $150,000 or $200,000 into our budget for technology.
Mhm.
That would be every
Every
year,
year.
we'd add 200,000 to it. So this year we'd add 200,000. Next year we turn that from 2 to 4, 4 to 6. Or in year one, we would lease $200,000 worth of equipment, probably closer to 180 with interest costs and whatnot, but we lease $180,000 or $185,000 worth of equipment. Year one. In year two, we would need that 180 still, or 200,000 is on the budget to pay year 2 of the lease.
Mhm.
But add another $200,000 to do a second lease. So there'd be 3-year leases, and over 3 years, we would build that up to 600,000. And then every year we could get new equipment, depending on what we do, Chromebooks or
Yep.
desktops or laptops or
Okay.
wireless access points. Unfortunately, I've had to back out that out of my mind for FY27's budget, seeing that it's a level funded budget. We can't add anything to it. We're actually trying to cut from it. First thing we do, we cut the things that are ads. So had we been able to put that in the FY27 budget for $200,000 for leases, we probably could have done this within our own budget.
Okay.
This was the cost to buy it. If we had leased it, it would have been another 3 years.
Yes.
The cost really would have been, we would have been going to have paid 60,000 this year and
Yeah.
the next
Yeah.
3 years of the 180. And then the town breaks out rolling stock separately. We have a 2013 14 passenger bus and a 2015 28 passenger bus. Both of them are in need of replacement. John did mention maybe we could get something that's new to us, not 2013, 2015, maybe 2020, 2022, new to us. So
Yeah.
we'll look at that also.
Have you shared any of this with Alicia or anyone's? Okay.
I need to do that by November 28th. That's why it's on this week's school
Okay.
committee agenda. So I will provide her this entire list. I'm taking off a couple of things that we're going to do now
Okay.
with the priority. So what I'm going to need school committee to do on Thursday night is just to endorse our priority, see if anybody wants to move something higher or lower up the priority list.
Keeping in mind, so at $1,000,007 is what your total is. Now you're taking some things off.
Right. So
Right, so it might
some of
be-
these are going to come off.
It might be like $1,600,000
Priority one
something.
is 765,000.
We probably won't even get that much.
Right, it's
So-
almost one of those things that we need to go back and say what's on priority one, what's A, B, and C.
Yeah.
That's what, so last year, not knowing how it worked, I think I just took those all out. I went down to 1677.
Okay. Okay.
I had, last year, I didn't even know that we were supposed to bring it to the committee. I just brought it to Alicia and said,
Yeah.
"Sure, so she said, well, now you need to prioritize them. You're only gonna get a couple of things. You're only gonna get one thing. And so-
Well, usually it's a
but-
dollar amount and
well,
then we
that's-
decide how.
It's like you only get one. And-
Well, okay.
So I'm like, well, how is that fair that we get one thing? We have 5 times the real estate of any other department. So she's like, all right, you can have a second thing. Whatever it was. She's,
Well, by the way, we also can go to town meeting with our own
well,
requests.
and
at
that's,
the floor town meeting.
and that's a conversation I think I want to have with Alicia. If we've got 1.7 million in assets and the town's going over 1 million in assets. Do we just propose a
Capital. Yeah.
borrowing for the entire amount and get some of this stuff done instead of putting it off?
Yeah.
We know that
Just gonna
it's
get more
difficult to get
expensive.
a operational override done.
Yeah,
Doesn't
no, the
seem
debt
to-
exclusion override or capital exclusion overrides usually,
Yeah.
and at a million, with 2.7 million, it's, $5 a household. I mean, it's.
And I
you
think
know,
the spin on that, hopefully not the spin, but the good side of that is currently. Our borrowing from last school year, last town meeting is not going to be full. The roof is coming in less.
Okay,
So,
great.
Don't
Good
have,
news.
don't have anything to share yet.
Okay,
Thursday will.
are they having a meeting this week? Is a subcommittee meeting?
So, yeah, I'm not, right, I'm not stealing the.
Yeah, no, no.
thunder from tomorrow night, it's tomorrow afternoon, you'll know tomorrow afternoon. how
Okay.
much the savings should be.
Right.
But maybe
It's like $80.
that could be a trade-off to say, hey.
Well, you can't,
No.
we can't actually use the money, but,
No.
but
You
the,
can say, hey, it's.
The
really
narrative
cool,
would be,
but-
hey, we're gonna return X amount of dollars and we'd like to borrow and do a different borrowing for X amount of dollars, so from a.
It's the same as what you said yes to last year.
From a tax increase on your property, it's going to be.
so that's
similar.
what she will do, and that
I haven't
is
talked
very
about-
powerful
He doesn't know about.
to the taxpayers in Marblehead to see, Marblehead High School is paid off now, that takes $200 off
Yeah, that
your
was.
thing.
okay last year.
Well, yeah, because that was it actually wasn't her biggest borrowing, it's our biggest building, that was a $30 million building. Can you believe that? It'd be 100 and something million dollars or more, I don't know.
200, easy.
That, and it's very helpful when they do, and Leisha's department is very good at doing that, or maybe with the assessor, however they do it, and it literally attaches a dollar value, so that will be quite powerful.
So I wanna have that conversation with Alicia and say,
Okay.
here's our list. What's your list look like, or what are the other
Yeah.
departments lists look like? And can we somehow just do a debt exclusion and use the savings from the roof as. Not that we can use it as a
Just the
talk,
narrative.
as a
to-
talk.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, okay, great, thank you, thanks for doing that.
So that'll be presented on Thursday, and I think we'll be asking for a motion just to approve the priorities.
Okay. Can we move, did you have anything else?
Nope.
Oh, so if I move on to the budget calendar discussion,
Did not give a copy, I told you.
oh, the capital.
This is the budget calendar.
Oh. I
That
didn't see that either.
I shared it out a couple of meetings ago. And it's a living document. It changes. Pretty consistently. With dates and whatnot.
Are you still sharing them? Yeah, there we go.
So, some of the dates are already in the past. We've added
Yep.
them. Right now, we are right here on the 17th.
It's good to leave it on there though, right? So we can see.
Yeah, we'll
We've
leave it
been
all.
hitting our dates.
This all actually go in our budget book to show how many times we met and.
Yep.
When we hit certain points and stuff like that. But as I said, November 28th, the town meeting capital submission to town meeting.
I think we have the joint meeting with FinCom.
We do on December 1st.
Is that the date?
Yep.
And it was with.
You might at some point add, you don't have to do this, but we met on October 30th with FinCom. But you don't have to do that now, just at some point, maybe just so we're chronicling. Oh, yeah, sorry, there we go, yep, 30. Um. So the capital request will go to our school committee on Thursday, capital submission to the town on the 28th. December 1st, we will meet with FinCom liaisons and have, so that's what I also want to talk about. I'm thinking sort of the discussion we had today with the spreadsheet that that's what they're looking for. I think, as well as probably the capital, because basically everything we had today. I don't know by December 1st, because your meeting, so your principals and directors' initial budget request due date is December
That's
1st.
kind of a placeholder.
It
It's
seems a little
something we have
far
to
out.
every year, and, you know.
You're not gonna be having discussions with your
there's
principals till
nothing-
January? Is that
That's the
true?
question then is when are you gonna have the conversations with them we were talking about?
Well,
Over the next 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay, so
Maybe
right
it's like
here,
that.
it says January TBD, but is that
Yeah,
gonna
the
be?
request from them is just them shooting us there.
Yeah,
Budget
I
request.
think that's in the past been like, oh, I'd rather like to add this.
Yeah.
That we're having conversations.
Not applicable this year.
So when we finish meeting with them, that'll become.
I think it's
evident.
hard to ask somebody to do some work, to put together a lot of blood, sweat and tears to say, do all this work, but you're not.
Yeah, it's a
getting
fetus,
what-
yeah.
Right.
You're not getting what?
You're not getting, I mean, we're cutting, we're not adding, right?
Well, that's the work.
And, right,
Oh.
right, no, right.
No,
but-
no, no,
Oh.
for them.
At the
Oh,
work,
okay.
the other
Ask them
direction,
to
like,
say, hey, what do
give
you,
us,
what
would
do you want?
have?
Right.
Okay,
On the
wait.
flip side, I do appreciate when if a principal were to come to me and say, Mike, I really need to have the conversation is what can you give up?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Good from gifts to get. So what do you
Yeah.
want to give to
Yeah.
give up to get? And we'll have those conversations. And again, I don't think there's a ton out there.
No, we did that last year with them, so that's.
Yeah.
But this is showing a January TBD for your discussions with them. It sounds like,
You said it's gonna be a.
It's
few-
gonna be-
Yeah, so
few
they
weeks.
actually, they submit to us what they want in December. And we go back to them in January and say, this is where we landed before we go to the full committee or the subcommittee.
and you're gonna wait till January or you're not? That's
No,
what I'm
but
trying to
it's split
understand.
This year, because you're having those conversations
Now.
Yeah, so I think Jen's point is the January TBD should probably be
I
like
think
now.
The January
December.
TV is kind of our feedback to them before we come to you. We've gotten everything, we digested, everything, we've
Oh.
gone through all the work. Here is what we're gonna present to the.
Then maybe you
subcommittee.
just need to redo this highlighted line then. For like the meetings, they're gonna be happy knowing them.
I think you should, yeah, somehow add in that you're going to
Yeah,
be
so-
ongoing meetings with just so we're telling the
But
community.
it's here, but October 1 to 15. We may have,
Okay,
we may have missed that.
okay, so then change
Oh, no,
that
so
to,
that was counted, that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so a similar
Same
one
thing,
for
yeah.
building budgets or building,
Let's just go with December 1 through. And, well, yeah, maybe,
Yeah.
15, meet with principals for,
FY 27 building budget.
no, this was a, I want to see what the word building in there, right? 27, general budget.
Okay,
I don't. Yeah. All right, so there we go. Summer first meet with FinCom, principal initial budget request due.
So you'll present the level service budget.
I was just gonna say, is it
That's
level
interesting.
service? Well, level service isn't the word, right? Is that like, what are you presenting to us on December
Oh,
4th?
well. Still is
Mhm.
Level fund is gonna be January.
So what's, okay,
The December 4th.
Probably nothing at this.
I was gonna say,
Get rid
It's
of
just, that's just gonna confuse things if we
Yeah.
do hey,
Yeah.
here's what we really wanted,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we're not gonna get it.
well, would you have it by then?
Yeah, that's,
Well-
no.
I can give you a level service budget today.
Level service,
Yeah.
yes, but not.
But-
level.
But I don't even wanna present the level service budget to the committee like on its own, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't hurt to at least maybe have the number.
No, well.
The number would be good.
At some point, yes. Right, we're
Well,
gonna
like, if
get.
we were to keep it the same, it would be 51 million, or, yeah.
It wouldn't be bad to have 28 too, frankly.
Get 27 and 28 level service.
Yeah, we have the numbers, and I have no problem sharing that number, I just don't want Mike to spend time doing like.
Yeah, I agree, that makes sense, yeah.
Silliness.
All right, so December 8th to the 22nd. I mean, again, executive team reviews. So executive team is your direct
I
reports.
guess that's the admin review of
Right.
what the feedback you get from them, yeah, okay.
Finance committee meeting with FinCom, finance committee subcommittee meeting, principal, and then, so again, that January principal director's budget discussions, is that?
That's really wrapping up right before we get to you guys.
Us saying this is where we land, this is where we landed.
Okay,
Based on all the other discussions.
so maybe it's
And in that-
maybe it's a budget present communication, like you're gonna communicate to them, right? Is that what that is?
This is what I call the horse trading. When we kind of get there and we say, okay, this is what we're gonna present.
Okay.
And they say, but I really need, well, what are you willing, now's crunch time. We've already said, what are you willing to give up? And you didn't give anything up. Well, maybe you did, but you
And
didn't
is
give
that
up
gonna
enough.
be the level funded plus the
No, this will be.
necessary services? Is that what we're
Yeah.
branding that one?
Right, I think at that point,
Oh.
we're gonna level services off the table, right? At that point, we're gonna have,
Level funded,
we're
sorry.
gonna have level funded and we're gonna have the step above level.
Yeah,
In
okay.
between.
Okay,
And if they wanna get something, how can they make it work in both of those
okay, okay,
budgets?
got it.
And that is January to be determined.
Correct.
Okay, so January 26th, the executive team finalizes the FY 27 budget, recommended budget. That should go to us
So there's,
before the school
right
committee.
before that is January TBD, finance subcommittee meeting.
Mhm.
That is when we will, I'm sure, be presenting to you.
Okay. Because it should come to us first
Yeah.
Yep, well,
Yeah.
and then the school committee. Okay. Okay, and then state of the town, can you just tab up, down, whatever, a little bit, please? Then February 5th is recommended budget presented to school committee. Override warrant article discussion and vote on the 5th. That will be too late, just as an FYI. So just that will, historically, the warrant closes in January.
Okay, so I need to figure out.
Set up.
the date.
Yep. And you want to give yourself plenty of time. So if typically I would shoot for the first meeting in January, John. For the school committee to vote the placeholder for an override, both the capital
First meeting in January.
is, I don't know,
Is it
because
gonna
is it
be
the
the
8th and the 22nd? I don't know.
It's gonna-
Yeah,
budget-
It's not gonna be January first of
No.
Thursday,
So
so
let's
it's
put on
gotta
the,
be the
let's
eighth.
put on the 8th right there.
Yeah, put in the 8th. So that would be, that way if something goes awry and for some reason something happens as a pass, we in theory have the next one. We don't know when the warrants, it'll all be based on the warrant closing.
Right.
Although we can always have a
Really
special
not.
meeting.
When, like last year, we had to put the roof on. This year, the only thing that I foresee would be an operational override.
And maybe a capital
Well, hopefully,
debt exclusion override.
yeah, I mean, unless Alicia wants to do, I think, for the town, right? But if we wanted to do one directly for the.
The warrant
courts,
closes for the general public January 23rd.
Okay, so that gives us the 8th and the 22nd, if that's when our two meetings are,
8th and.
the 22nd.
Yep.
I mean, anything we could have a snowstorm, we can, anything can go
No,
awry that you
no snowstorm.
miss a meeting.
Yeah,
Okay,
we could-
okay, so then state of the town is, late January. So recommended budget to the school committee, February 5th, recommended budget in presentation posted online, February 6th, okay. Public hearing, the 26th, is that one of our meetings? First and third, so, that's vacation, so
vacation,
yeah,
yeah.
26th, okay. Public hearing, meeting with FinCom liaison, we may or may not need that.
Right,
Who
yeah.
knows? Finance, I'm not sure the finance, well, we can leave it there.
Yeah. I like
Um,
to have one a month on the books.
Okay,
but
good,
good.
really hope-
March 5th would be the school budget voted by the committee. School budget presentation to FinCom, school budget, no, we don't present to the select board.
But we send them our budget, don't we?
Yes, I
Oh,
guess, do we?
Oh, down here, you're saying we don't present to the select. board?
We don't present to the select board now. Town meeting warrant hearing, yep, that's FinCom. FinCom has two meetings.
Really?
We'll just have to check with them. Yeah, we present to FinCom and then they have a warrant hearing, right? And then town meeting, and then town election,
Perfect.
which could potentially include a ballot question or two or more. Great.
Anything, I know you wanted this on there, just. before you-
No, this is great. Are folks comfortable if we share a condensed version of this, just for the public, here are
Yeah.
kind of the key milestones that are.
You want to do it from the communications?
From a communication standpoint,
Do you want me to email you this? new
yeah, if you
version?
could email it to me, just picking out specific things so people know what's to come and how we're working backwards to get from here to there. If folks are good with that, I would love to be able to do that.
I'm just gonna share it.
Yeah, if you're happy with that.
I'd be good with that.
This is really helpful.
That way, that way you'll have the live version as things change.
Yeah.
Are you going to put this in the drive for Thursday night, just so? School committee has it.
Oh, this
Is that-
too?
is that on the agenda?
Not on the agenda.
Oh, we can give it as an update then. We'll just give it as an update.
Under your, yeah,
That's up for the updates, yeah.
yeah, so you'll get a fresh copy, we'll just print it out and scan it out then, so it's not. Which is- Now that we don't have new business anymore. We're just gonna-
It's an open meeting violation.
Cucamonga thing in my life.
Well, technically, you are only supposed to discuss what the chair reasonably
Yeah.
anticipates.
Yeah.
So if you have a standing new business that I'm not going to anticipate this, but you're like, it is, according to the attorney, it's an open, potentially open meeting violation. Anyway,
But then if you had something that came up that you had to share on the day. of the
then it
meeting,
wouldn't be on the agenda. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
If the chair couldn't reasonably expect it,
Right.
didn't put it on the agenda,
when
and
you-
you know,
when you-
the
when
roof
you-
caved in, then
where
you
do
can,
bring that in?
Bite your tongue.
you can do it, you can do it without it being on the agenda. But it truly has to be
Yeah, yeah.
like an emergency.
Like, oh, hey, I forgot. to talk
And
about that.
technically you should not be voting anything or.
Oh, yeah, no, I know that. I just, it's weird that.
Yeah. Okay, and so can I move on to the next one?
Of course.
Prepare for our joint FinCom school liaison subcommittee meeting on 12/1. So I think we talked about that a little bit. We're gonna talk about the analysis that they've done so far. We can share the calendar with them.
Yeah.
I imagine FinCom may have some questions. I guess my last question to you would be, and maybe we covered this earlier, but maybe you can think about what level of detail will be shared. Like, so in other words, you're gonna do this meeting, you're gonna do this analysis, you're gonna meet with your building principal, our building principals. When you come back with a budget presentation, what level of detail are we gonna have, I guess is the question, is just leaving it out there, ...
For the first?
Well, I think they're probably gonna ask that question too. Like, when are we going to, like, again, are we gonna see that when you present your budget in January? How granular is that gonna go?
Yeah, and I don't know that. This is different environment for me. Never presented the whole budget to the subcommittee. Usually we talk through things and we
Mm.
talk through, if your intention is for us to present the full budget, fine. But
No.
I'm not sure, once it's presented to the subcommittee, it's kind of out there, right? Because it's public documents
Yep.
and everybody's seeing everything, so. Whatever he wants to do.
Yeah, but I think typically it would be, yeah, the high points.
Yes.
In the subcommittee, so there's no, you guys can say, yeah, these high points match what we've been talking about. And then the granular stuff is when we present to the whole committee.
Okay,
Do you know what I mean?
That's fine.
Budget.
Yeah.
Because I think otherwise,
Yeah.
yeah, I think
We're doing it
that's
twice.
well, and
That's
FinCom's
correct,
gonna
exactly.
wanna see it too.
I mean, but if I have to have it done for 1 year, it's done for this one.
Yeah.
And FinCom's gonna wanna see
They
it too.
typically do it twice a day, so we do the budget presentation at the school committee and then we do the budget.
I don't disagree,
Hearing
but I think the full committee should see it before FinCom.
Oh, yeah, I do too.
Okay,
Maybe not before subcommittee, but I'm not sure that our school committee should see something after FinCom, just like our select boards and see something before a school committee.
Okay.
I think having the high, I mean,
that's our job, like, in other words, this is what the role of this committee is to, subcommittees to do, is to work through this. You know, we're bringing along the school committee, and the finance committee is at least here in Marblehead, is an integral part
Of course.
of this, so.
but this full school committee needs to. Yeah, let's think about this more. I would tend to agree with
I ask
Mike
you to
that I
think
don't
about it.
know that. Giving FinCom the full Monty before the full committee gets the full Monty.
They're just gonna want to see it. Alec was clear.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Molly,
that's fine.
yeah.
I just think we need to determine when, and I don't think.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just think we need to work through that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So next meeting is gonna be 12/1. I forget what time it is. I think it's, I don't know, I have a post, she wouldn't let me post it, so now I will go post that. And then we will, do we want to set our next one, or do you want to see how it goes with FinCom before we?
And it's on 2 weeks out, right?
Yeah. I'm not sure we need a separate meeting for
Yeah, I
us,
don't
right?
think
We'll just have the
so.
FinCom
Yeah.
meeting in December 1st, and then we will
It's probably
plan
till-
to
And
January.
FinCom blocked off from 2 to 4.
Okay, so it's-
Hopefully it doesn't last 2 hours. but
No,
Yeah.
I don't think so. Okay, so 2 p.m. Okay, and then do we want to set, do you want to wait? Maybe December 1st, we can
Yeah.
look at the calendar for
December
January,
1st.
because you will have met with your principals by then. You might, it's a couple
Sorry.
weeks from now. You'll have,
It is, but I mean, next week's a short week, so.
Okay.
Right, next week's
Yeah,
a short week.
yeah.
Will we in the December 1st meeting be able to do the minutes from the 10:17, 10:30, 11, so like all basically our subcommittee meetings?
So
that
it
we
would be
had?
10:30, it would be 11:17, and was there one
We
before
had
that?
one before, I think it was, was it 10?
And I'll go back and check.
Okay.
Yeah, I will.
There was,
Minutes.
There was not anything on 10/17.
what was the other one before the 30th that we had?
Let me just see.
Finance Subcommittee, I've got something on the 14th, I don't know if I
It was the
have
14th.
one on the 14th, but on my calendar. Yeah, what happened or not.
Yeah, because we had two with FinCom kind of
Yeah.
short order back to back. So I think it was the 14th and the 30th.
Okay, I'll go back and pull that. Okay,
And then I had a school committee FinCom on the 30th.
Yep.
And was another one November, you guys said?
Just
Today.
this one. Yeah.
17th.
It's just the three.
Those first two that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Whether we're doing,
Both
we didn't
were
have anything,
FinCom.
we didn't have
Correct.
anything, just the.
Yeah.
Just the
Yeah.
two of you.
all right. Anything else? Lisa?
Thanks
I'm
for your
gonna-
work on putting that together.
Yes, thank you, that was great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
No, motion for,
Amazing, I've never seen.
you're,
something
so,
like that.
I need a motion to adjourn, so moved.
So moved.
I'll second it. So Melissa, Jen, and then, Melissa, are you in favor?
Yes.
And Jen in favor, 2-0 at 2:42, I'm gonna adjourn us.
Ask you guys